Mexico's leader taking aim now at President Biden over the crisis at the southern border. Andrés Manuel López Obrador affirmed the administration's immigration policies have contributed to the surge of migrants. During a recent press conference, he said in part, quote, expectations were created with the government of President Biden. There would be a better treatment of migrants. And this has caused Central American migrants and also from our country wanting to cross the border thinking that it is easier to do so. That from the president of Mexico, not a pundit. Joining us now to discuss is Lieutenant Colonel Allen West, U.S. Army retired. He's also the Republican Party chairman of Texas and former Florida congressman. Colonel, good to see you. Thanks so much for coming on. I think it speaks volumes when you have the president of Mexico suggesting the president's move to reverse many of Trump's stricter immigration policies prompted migrants to risk the journey to the border. What do you make of Obrador's comments? Do you agree?
Well, of course you agree with it, and it's good to be with you, Sean, because it's the truth. And so he is seeing exactly what is happening. There is just no spin. There is no partisanship here. He is assessing the situation. And for those of us here in Texas, we also see what is happening. I live here in Dallas County, where we have 3,000 illegal immigrant teenage males that have been housed at the Dallas Convention Center. We also have another 1,000 that came in the middle of the night to Midland. We've seen all the videos. We've seen the footage of people crossing the Rio Grande Valley unimpeded. We have seen the pictures now of these detention facilities. This was not the case just a year ago or even 2 years ago. We have seen an incredible spike in an off-season time, which is represents about a 375% increase. So the spin doctors in the Biden administration, Jen Psaki and all of them, they cannot do anything but point to themselves for the policies that they have done unconstitutionally by executive order to undermine the sovereignty of the state of Texas, the sovereignty of the United States of America, and to advance an open borders policy. And as a veteran, I am absolutely incensed at the fact that they would use taxpayer funds to house illegal immigrants in hotels while we still have homeless veterans in the United States of America.
Yeah, reportedly $86 million being spent for hotels for 6 months. And then you pointed to something, the 3,000 in Dallas, using that convention center out there. What are you hearing or seeing in Dallas? That story is not really told. Are folks happy with this, what's happening in Dallas, and it being essentially a refugee camp?
No, they're absolutely not happy about it, because here we are trying to turn the corner with this whole COVID issue. But we know that we are seeing that there's no social distancing in these detention facilities, and we are allowing people to come into the state of Texas. We're not sure they're not even being tested for COVID, or if they are being tested for COVID and they come up positive, we know that 108 were released from Brownsville, Texas crossing zone, and were taken to a Greyhound bus station, and we don't know where they are. So we are seeing a complete hypocrisy when everyone's talking about follow the science, but yet we want to shut down and continue to not allow American citizens to have their freedoms and liberties, but we're allowing illegal immigrants to freely come into this country without any positive understanding of their impact on our healthcare system.
Yeah, and we just learning here, Jim Jordan and others are inviting, officially sent a letter to Democrats inviting them to visit the border. President Biden still has yet to visit the border. Now you have Mexico's president coming out and saying, no, they're coming because of your policies, President Biden. I mean, almost verbatim, saying that's why you're seeing this surge. Lieutenant Colonel Allen West, thank you so much for your time. Always good to see you, Colonel. Come back and see me.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Sean.
Anytime. All right, let's bring our panelists in now. Today we have Bob Barr joining us to continue the conversation. He's a former Georgia congressman. Also, Melanie Burkholder, Republican California State Assembly candidate and former Secret Service agent. Good to see everybody here. Melanie, I'll start with you on this. And again, making waves, if you will. Mexico's president responding, saying it's the policies that President Biden put in place. That's the reason you're seeing the surge. Again, what I said earlier, not a political pundit. This is the guy who runs Mexico.
Yeah, and you just really can't get past the honesty in that statement, right? Lieutenant Colonel Allen West, I have a lot of respect for, and I do appreciate his analysis of what's happening at the border. As someone that lives in California by the border, we are seeing it every day. What is awful about this whole surge at the border is that these folks are getting preferential treatment over people that actually live and reside in the area who are citizens. So at this point, Sean, we're catering to illegal immigrants at the southern border and putting them in shelters and trying to keep them safe, which is the humanitarian thing to do. I do agree with keeping people safe. Obviously, that's the fundamental role of government. But it's prioritizing people and picking winners and losers. And in my opinion, the people that live here legally should be prioritized number one. We should take care of who we have here first by giving them vaccinations and making sure that they're safe, and not prioritize illegal immigrants over our own folks, Sean.
Bob Barr, your thoughts on this and what we're seeing at the border, and then also on the heels of noting that Representative Jim Jordan and others are asking for Democrats now, just recently coming in less than an hour ago, calling on Democrats to visit the border with them. The political response. Bob Barr, your thoughts.
This is embarrassing for the United States of America, to me, to have a president who is absolutely in absentia being lectured to by foreign leaders, not only Mexico stating the obvious, which the Biden administration seems blinded to because of its political policy agenda and fearing its own left wing in the United States Democratic Party, but also being lectured to by the Communist Chinese Party during the recent mini summit in Anchorage, Alaska. Then with regard to the lack of transparency by the Biden administration with regard to its immigration policy on our southern border, it has gotten so bad, so untransparent, so dark that even Democrats are turning against the administration, at least insofar as that aspect of it goes. How long the Biden administration will be able to pursue this policy of sticking its head in the sand remains to be seen, but I don't think it will be able to do so much longer.
All right. Well, he's going to be pressed on hopefully some heavy questions come tomorrow with his first White House press briefing, which I believe would be in 64 days of being in office, something like that. All right. Bob Barr, Melanie Burkholder, they're panelists for this hour, so stick around.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.